Ever since the 2018 iPad Pro was released, it's been making headlines because of how much power it's able to squeeze out of its thin design. Like for example, it's able to get 120 FPS in Fortnite, while a lot of high-end consoles are still limited to 60. I tested it myself in that video, which we'll link to at the end of this one, and all I could say is that it's so good that it does give an unfair advantage compared to other mobile players. And now we're expecting an even more powerful iPad Pro sometime this year. In fact, there are rumors pointing to Apple releasing a brand new 2020 iPad Pro as early as March. So in this video, we'll go through a bunch of leaks and rumors and discuss when we can realistically expect a new iPad Pro, and we'll also talk about which features it'll most likely be packing. Before I get into my personal reasons for why I think we should expect the new 2020 iPad Pro in either March or June, let's go through all the rumors we've received since last year, starting in April 2019, with Ming-Chi Kuo claiming that the 2020 iPad Pro will pack a brand new liquid crystal polymer softboard which will be used to improve network connection performance. And then in November, he claimed that the iPad Pro will come in the first half of 2020 and pack a brand new time-of-flight 3D sensing camera system. And then in December, he adjusted his report to say that an iPad Pro with an A14X chip and a mini LED display will be released in the third quarter of 2020. So there's a chance that we may actually see two separate iPad Pro releases in 2020, with one packing a brand new mini LED display. And more recently, DigiTimes reported that the iPad Pro coming later in the year could actually support 5G networking, so it would make sense why Apple would have two releases in 1 year. And just a couple of days ago, DigiTimes again reported that a new Scissor Switch smart keyboard is also coming this year alongside the 2020 iPad Pro, featuring a backlit design that we haven't yet seen on the smart keyboard. So with all those rumors, we can almost surely expect a new iPad Pro this year. Now let's get into my reasoning for why we should expect the 2020 iPad Pro in either March or June. Looking at Apple's previous iPad Pro release timeline, there was exactly 16 months between the release of the first gen 9.7-inch iPad Pro and the second gen models. And then exactly 16 months after that, the 2018 iPad Pro was released. And you guessed it, 16 months after that release will be March 2020. So it actually makes a lot of sense for Apple to release the 2020 iPad Pro at their March event, where they usually release new iPads. And if, for some reason, they don't release it then, they can release it at their annual WWDC conference in June, which is when they announce the second gen iPad Pro. So based on that, if we do truly get a new iPad Pro in March, I would recommend everyone looking to buy an iPad Pro to hold off until then. But those of you who don't want to spend at least $800 on an iPad should check out our Which iPad to Buy video, which I'll link to at the end of this one. Now let's discuss the features and specs we can expect to see on the 2020 iPad Pro. First off, don't expect any physical changes since it was just redesigned with the 2018 model. Unless we see a new mini LED display, don't expect any display changes either. Apple is almost certainly keeping ProMotion 120Hz technology in the iPad Pro, which will be difficult to implement with a mini LED display, but if Apple pulls it off, it'll be amazing. We should definitely expect to see camera improvements, possibly an ultra-wide lens on the rear, and the new 12-megapixel selfie camera on the front. We should expect the new A14X processor, which is gonna be the single biggest change in the new iPad Pro. Even though the 2018 model was released 10 months before the iPhone 11 Pro, it still easily outperforms it in Geekbench 4's multi-core CPU test. And then the story is the same for Metal Graphics, being around 44% faster than the iPhone 11 Pro. The performance is insane considering how old the iPad Pro is. In fact, we're still seeing updates to this day that are trying to take advantage of it, like Fortnite for example, enabling insane 120 FPS mode on the iPad Pro. And we expect much of the same thing for the upcoming A14X chip. There have been rumors that the iPhone's A14 chip is switching to a new 5nm process, which will greatly improve performance, and the A14X should go well beyond that. The main problem we're having right now is not performance, but software and games being high-end enough to be able to take advantage of the extra power. So hopefully, we should start seeing some very high-end games coming to iOS soon. Either way, we are extremely excited for the upcoming 2020 iPad Pro, and we're looking forward to March to see which Apple products will be released. So if you're not already subscribed, do so right now by clicking the circle above, because we'll have in-depth coverage of every future Apple product. And make sure to check out the 2018 iPad Pro running Fortnite at 120 FPS right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.